Hello everyone, welcome to MSCI 343 Lesson 2. This will form Assignment 1 if you follow along, so make sure you pay attention. By the end of this lecture, you'll be able to outline, explain, and justify the HCI design lifecycle. And there's no better way of doing that than to actually go through it. So we'll start our design lifecycle in an hour. You'll recall the 4 different activities that we talked about last time: establishing requirements, designing alternatives, prototyping, and evaluating. We're going to do this with an example with LEDs. LEDs are everywhere, from old interfaces to new interfaces. You've seen them before, but are they being used to their full potential? Let's take a look at this research project out of Carnegie Mellon University by Chris Harrison et al. To see if we have some ideas of how we can improve things.
Small point light sources are used as indicators in a very wide variety of devices today, from digital watches, mobile phones, and toasters, to washing machines, desktop computers, and cars. Although exceedingly simple in their output, varying light intensity over time, their design space can be rich. Unfortunately, a survey of contemporary uses reveals that the vocabulary of light behaviors in popular use today is small, unimaginative, and generally ambiguous in meaning, often just on, off, or blinking. In this work, we hope to reignite people's imaginations by demonstrating the impressive and largely unrealized richness of point lights and their utility in ever more capable modern electronic and computing devices.
So what's our first step? Well, our first step is to establish requirements, and we're just going to give that to you for free. So you have been awarded a contract from enormous electronics conglomerate EEC. They produce shavers, toothbrushes, coffee makers, computers, all sorts of other types of electronics. EEC has contracted you to consolidate the behavior of LEDs across products by designing standard notifications. They've already identified a number of informational states that they want you to represent, so you can kind of skip past this first step. Remember, so in this case, a single LED can vary in intensity over time, and it will represent one of the following informational states: where the device is notifying the user about an event or schedule item, where the device has low battery, if the device is thinking, computing, or processing, if the device is sleeping, suspended, or hibernating, if the device is turning on, booting, or warming up, or if the device is transmitting or receiving data. So these 6 different behaviors and informational states where we want to communicate with LEDs. So we're going to go through the full process. We'll start by designing, brainstorming, and then implementing low fidelity prototypes, and then we'll start to revise our process as we go through. So let's move on to designing alternatives. So now it's your turn. Start to brainstorm designs individually. Follow the instructions on Learn to brainstorm, and make sure you come up with a lot of different prototypes. You want to go for quantity over quality. Although you can focus on differentiating behaviors, the goal is just to create as many as possible. So go to it, fill out what needs to be done on Learn, and we'll get through this assignment.